There's this guy from The Daily Show. He wasn't on there very long. Skinny little black dude. I can't remember his name. Apologies for that. Yeah, I can't remember his name. But I just saw a little short on YouTube, and he was saying that he was basically arguing that billionaires should be taxed for money they hold. So in other words, what he's saying is the amount of money that you have, based on how much it is, should always go down. Just automatically. The longer you hold it, the less you should have. Well, that's true. That's true. Unless you follow the Templar logic. I call it the Templar logic. The Templars didn't spend any time running around buying shit and being decadent douchebags. They were warrior monks who prayed to God all day and tried to understand Him, the one true. So, consequentially, everything they were given and rewarded just sat there. Okay? They ended up having more money than the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church did not like that. So the Templars had to be eradicated. Okay? They were lambasted, branded heretics for being peace-loving and loving Jesus Christ, and fighting their entire bullshit war. Okay? Now, the Templar logic for me is this. You should always have somebody who has more money than everybody else. When you have one guy who has more money than everybody else, he's sort of like a bellwether on your system. You can see that he has everything. The camel, it's harder for a rich man to get into heaven than for a camel to pass through the eye of the needle. You remember that from Jesus Christ? Okay, well, the needle wasn't a little threading needle, okay? It was the standing arc that a camel had to walk through. So the camel had to be efficient, okay? So your efficiency system is actually based on the highest and the lowest end of a thing. In order for growth to actually exist, you actually have to have diversity. If you are taxing people for holding money, you are also taking away the most important thing that currency provides: trust. Why? Well, if you don't trust that that guy isn't going to just hold his money until he needs to spend it right, like a Templar, then you're assuming that no one can be trusted, in a sense, right? The money can't be trusted, that guy can't be trusted, and you're making it to where the actual intrinsic value of having a guy have more money than you makes that point of focus, that one guy we can always watch, pointless. Why? Because he's always going to compete with somebody else that can pass the buck around, and you will have no accountability for all of time. You didn't think that through, bro. You did not think that through. That's okay. Because I had to go through every single leftist view of economics physically possible to really conclude that the smartest man who I ever met in the world, who was a right-wing, Milton Friedman, capitalist, hardcore natural law economics Republican, was absolutely right about how economic structures should be free markets. Okay? Now, there's another thing about that fact. It's really, really serious because it has nothing to do with my age to know what I am saying, because you can quote the same logical argument that I just provided you when you're 9 years old. But when you're 45 years old, how much of what I just said are you going to argue with? In the reverse, if you don't know anything when you're 8 or 9 years old, it's going to take you to the age of 40 if you're obsessed with these things to come to that conclusion. So it doesn't have nothing to do arbitrarily with your age, so much as maturity, okay? Understanding and comprehending what a natural system is and its functions. There's another really, by the way, last point. There's another really important fact of having the guy at the top of the mountain always have a certain level of accountability. That guy is the guy who wants that more than anyone else. I just saw a video right before this where Elon Musk goes, "I'm not sure I want to be me." Let me tell you something. I am so glad Elon Musk is Elon Musk. If Elon Musk couldn't be Elon Musk, I couldn't be me. Because one of my driving forces in life became, when the richest man in the world has 14 kids and he doesn't feel safe with them, and he's walking up to a campfire and taking care of them and being a dad like my dad was, I know that there's no amount of money in the world that's going to buy your safety if you can't trust your neighbor. Elon Musk is a great bellwether for what's going on in the world, and I'm pretty sure only he knows his own name. Does anybody know what Elon means? Because that's a Hebrew name. I don't know. I'm not going to Google it because I'm not a big fan of Googling shit. I'd rather tell you what I actually think and learn in real life. God bless you, and make eye contact or give me death.